Yo, what's going on, people? It's Creamslice, and I hope you are having a fantastic day. So, with Grandmasters just coming out this week, I did want to bring you guys a build that you could take into the Grandmasters, or if you are just looking to farm lost sectors and you don't really have a build put together, this build will help you sail through it, guys. Absolutely sail through it. Don't mean to be rude, but it makes Grandmasters a piece of piss, honestly. Like, there's no beating around with the bush with this build. It is a stasis warlock build, and it is still king, guys. Like, being honest, you will very rarely see a fire team that does not run a stasis warlock, because it is just too strong. The way that you can control rooms, you can control champions, it just makes everything that much easier. So if you're new around here, welcome. If for all my usual viewers, welcome again. If you guys could let the video play out to the end, it helps us in a huge way. And if you could like the video and consider subscribing as well if this video helps you out. Yeah, let's get into it. Peace. Best MMO for cheap Destiny 2 silver. Use a code creamslice below for a discount. The absolute backbone to this build, guys, is going to be the osmiomancy stasis warlock gauntlets. Basically, in a nutshell, what they do is it gives you an additional cold snap grenade, and when you hit your targets directly, it recharges one of your grenades super fast. So with us wanting to run the Grandmaster Nightfalls and the harder lost sectors, I think it's absolutely vital with this build that you try and max out your discipline and your resilience, as maxing out your resilience will give you a 40% damage reduction, and maxing out your discipline with this build will enable us to get our grenade back within a flash, along with some of the other mods that I will go over in a second. The main aspects that you want to run with this build is glacial harvest. Basically, this will enable us to create stasis shards every time we hit a target with our grenade. So with the osmiomancy gloves, another perk in it is that you don't necessarily need to shatter your enemies to create stasis shards. All you need to do is directly hit them. The other aspect that you want to run is the Bleak Watcher grenade. So the great thing about this build is that you can switch between locking areas down with your cold snap grenades or your Bleak Watchers. So in a nutshell, you can pretty much get a Bleak Watcher up and a cold snap and then continue the cycle that way. Like, as you could see from some of the footage when we was holding down some of the champions there, you can pretty much just spam your Bleak Watcher grenades and you can have maybe 2-3 up. So I will go over some of the fragments that I was using with this build. It is totally open to your preference, so let me know in the comments down below what you guys usually run when you are running the stasis warlock. But these fragments also give us a bump into some of our stats as well, which is really nice. So the first one is going to be Whisper of Chains. While we are near a frozen target, we gain a massive damage reduction, and it gives us an extra 10 in recovery, which is super nice. Next fragment is going to be Whisper of Shards. Shattering a stasis crystal temporary boost your grenade recharge rate, which will in addition help us get our grenade back even faster, and it has a 10 resilience. So if you want to just throw this mod on, you can throw something else on if you want, but it gives us that extra 10 to add to our resilience. And Whisper of Rending, kinetic weapons do increase damage to stasis crystals or frozen target. This is a must-have with this build. The last fragment is going to be Whisper of Conduction. So when we are creating them stasis shards around our enemies with our grenade, our crystals will track to our destination, and I'll go over what we're going to be doing with them shortly. and this is really nice because it gives us an extra 10 in resilience and an extra 10 in our intellect. So now that we've got the aspects and the fragments covered, I will show you some weapons that work really nice with this build. One of my favorite pulse rifles right now is the new purpose. This is a pulse rifle from the new duality dungeon, and it rolls with a very unique perk called adaptive munitions. Now, with this being a kinetic weapon, it just shreds through any other shield. So when you think of Arbalest, yeah, that is a solid choice, but say if you wanted to run like Galahorn in your heavy slot, then this is a great alternative for taking care of any match game shields, as it is in the kinetic slot, which means it just rips through any match game shield, guys. Another personal favorite of mine for dealing with unstoppable champions is the Staccato 46, purely because it rolls with the perk Incandescent. So if you like your Scorch stacks, then this is absolutely amazing for scorching your enemies and giving you that extra bump in damage. I have noticed is that when you freeze your targets and you stun them, it just ignites them straight away. And we are going to be using the mod Revitalizing Blast, which when we stun any champion with any weapon, we ignite them, and it also gives us some health back. But there are other weapons that you can use. Say if you are coming up against any overload champions, the Callus mini tool is the go-to right now, and this rolls with Incandescent. If you didn't want to run a pulse rifle in your top slot and you wanted to run say maybe Arbalest, you could put Storm Chaser or a decent rocket in your heavy slot, and you could put Arbalest at the top there to cover your shields, your barrier champions, and you could use the Ogma that Banshee was selling, Demolitionist and Wellspring. Wellspring kills with this weapon generate ability energy, and when you get kills with it, you are also proccing Demolitionist, which plays into this build like really nicely. So as we look at the mods that we are running, there's nothing fancy going on with the mods, guys. It's pretty much straightforward, really easy to put together. All it requires is 3 solar pieces of armor, so we can slot 3 firepower mods. So when you are charged with light, you regain a portion of your grenade energy when you use your grenade. So going back to what I was saying before, guys, with Glacial Harvest, when we are making them stasis shards with our grenades, we need to equip the mod Elemental Shards. So basically them stasis shards will count as elemental wells for us, and we are using elemental charge. So when we constantly freeze our enemies, we're creating stasis shards, which will enable us to become charged with light, constantly proccing our firepower mod. Now you do not have to run 3 firepower mods. I was just being a little over exaggerated with it, but I found out that it works really nice. If you are running like say the Galahorn, you could always swap a firepower mod out with say Ardent Ordnance. So it's like free reign. Do what you want with this build, guys, but like I said, it is still hands down the best warlock build to date for endgame content. Challenge me. I'm just joking, but yeah, that's pretty much the build, guys. There will be a dim link below. Yeah, I can't wait to hear what you guys think in the comments on creamslice. Peace.